Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary of the Champions League game from Group A between Manchester United and Copenhagen. And our referee Marco Guida has just restarted the game 0-0 at the start of the second half. Manchester United really flattering to deceive in that first half, struggling to get any kind of decent shots on goal. They had a decent amount of possession at times, but really there wasn't enough from United to threaten the Copenhagen defence. And the visitors, for their part, they actually had a couple of decent chances and a couple of breakaways as well that would have given them some encouragement to try and go for it in the second half. We just see Eriksen a couple of seconds late in coming out to the Manchester United dugout, but he would have been busy in the half-time break because his side have got a lot to do in the second half. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz and Ben White taking you through the action.
Yeah, Paul, you're absolutely right. There must have been a lot said in those 15 minutes. There's obviously been some action as well with Eriksen coming on for Sofyan Amrabat, which does mean, from what we can see on the pictures, McTominay is sitting even deeper now. It's what you suspect just because Fernandes is the other midfielder, who himself was really deep in the first half. As they're trying to get the ball forward now, he's almost in line with Højlund, so you'd assume he is playing a bit more in the hole now. Eriksen and McTominay, in fact, it's almost a very simple 4-2-3-1 now, isn't it? Rather than a perhaps more fluid midfield. But easily Copenhagen will be the happier of the two teams from that first 45. They had the bigger opportunities. They looked comfortable on the United turf. It's often a cliche, isn't it, as to who the home side really is. But I have to say that there were a bit more nerves in the United team compared to Copenhagen, although Højlund just rolls Vavro. He
does, and he gets a ball across the 6-yard box. It's just a little bit too quick for his own good there, Rasmus Højlund did really well to turn his man and get that ball into the box. But ideally, he would have had someone else do the turn and him being in the box himself. But it's promising there from United. He was onside as well. I'd blame Ankerson for that. He wasn't quite in line with the rest of his teammates, but the cross is just too early.
It is, yeah. He's the most advanced player, and then he's needing other players to catch up. Rashford was one of those. He was a full sprint trying to get into the 18-yard box. Fernandes was making his way in as well. But as you say, he could have waited maybe a little bit longer or cut it back as opposed to drilling it across the face of goal, so it did evade all the United players, but it's a bit more positive, isn't it? An eager start from United. They've seen nearly all of the ball, which you would suspect, I suppose, because a goal, as we did ponder on the idea of whether United would turn the tap on a bit more as the game got even closer to the 90th minute, and maybe we're seeing that in the early stages of the second half.
We are. There was a change for United. I'll tell you about that in just a moment, because United are on the attack again. It's with Bruno Fernandes. He lays it off to Reguilón, who thinks about the shot. He does take a shot, takes a big deflection, which actually flicks the ball up in the air, and it becomes an easy save for Kamil Grabara. So for Manchester United, it is Andre Onana in goal, a back four of Diogo Dalot, Rafael Varane, Harry Maguire and Sergio Reguilón. The two holding midfielders are Scott McTominay and Christian Eriksen, who comes on to replace Sofyan Amrabat. The three ahead of them, Antony, Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford, with Rasmus Højlund as the front man. For Copenhagen is Kamil Grabara in goal, a back four of Peter Ankerson, Dennis Vavro, Kevin Dix and Elias Yeller. The three in midfield are Lucas Leraga, Rasmus Falk and Diogo Goncalves, with Mohamed Elyounoussi, Elias Achuri and Victor Claesson as the three up front. It is a throw to Copenhagen. They're pushing forward. They're into the United half down the left-hand side. Although just as I say that, Yeller loses the ball to Antony. He loses that ball straight away, and Achuri is able to try and capitalise on that, breaking into the box, just having to check his run, goes back towards Goncalves. There's a deflection on the ball as it comes into the box, but Nana was confident, comes out and makes the save. Elyounoussi still getting in his way, but the United keeper is able to bowl this out towards the left-hand side now for Sergio Reguilón, being closed down straight away there by Claesson, who dropped a little bit deeper this time. Christian Eriksen now on the ball. I saw Eriksen getting his instructions just before he came on at the start of the second half, and I think the instruction will be that look, when you get the ball, look up and try and send it forward.
Yeah, he's got that range of passing, hasn't he? So too does Fernandes, but now he can go further up the field. Eriksen now is on the ball, and as you say, as soon as he picks it up, he's looking for the options ahead of him. Rashford has had to drop deep, but players seem to be more willing to get involved now in this second half. Reguilón is there as well, a bit more narrow. He tries to win the ball. There's maybe a half appeal for a back pass there, pass from Ankerson, but I don't think there's anything in it. But the rollout from Grabara is picked up by Antony.
It is, and it's a good bit of work here down the left-hand side now from United to win it back. It's Reguilón to Rashford. Three players in the box if Rashford can try and get across, and he's got two players blocking his path into the penalty area, going back towards McTominay. He then finds Antony. Three players surrounding Antony, just by sheer weight of numbers. He couldn't really do anything there, and now the visitors look to try and break out. As that's a good touch there from Elyounoussi, plays that ball into space, and Victor Claesson is away. He can try and pick out a pass into the penalty area, lays it off square. A strike comes in. Oh, it's a really good save from Onana, because it was a really measured effort heading towards the bottom corner. He's had his critics this season, Andre Onana, but that save from Lucas Liraga's shot. He deserves credit for that one.
Oh, it's a fantastic strike. It's easily the biggest chance of the game, and he is outside the area, and yet the space opens up. There's no United defender in the way of the strike, which in truth could help Onana, because then his vision isn't impaired at all, so he can see every moment of that strike. But it's a save. It's still a fantastic save nonetheless. He needs the reaction just because of the power of the strike from Liraga. It's gone for a corner.
Here it comes in from the left-hand side, headed on. And it's a great chance at the far post. Kliassen headed it across the 6-yard box rather than towards goal. And in the end, it's Rashford that hooks it up in the air. There was a half chance for Copenhagen as Højlund looked to try and go on the counter. He's robbed of the ball almost immediately. And here is Elyounoussi now breaking in from the right-hand side. His cross goes across and it's fired over the bar. Shades of what we saw from Højlund in the first half, looking for that top corner with a left-footed drive. On this occasion, it was Elias Achuri with the effort, but it's just over the bar.
Well, the fans like what they see, don't they? The away support they've made away from Denmark. We only just made the point that United have started the second half strong, and now we've seen a great chance from Liraga, and then the corner, as you say, threatening with some headers across the face of goal, then a lofted ball to the back post for Achuri, and then he blasts it over. But it's been a great response. We only had 6 minutes in the second half, and both keepers have probably been more active than they were in the first.
Yeah, they've already had a bit of work to do in the first 6 minutes, and there may be more work here now for the Copenhagen keeper as United push down the left-hand side. Rashford back to Reguilón, and then Bruno Fernandes heads this on for Højlund. It gets away from the goalkeeper, but it's cleared just inside the 6-yard box, just in front of the post. I think it might have just been squirming wide anyway, but a little bit of confusion there inside the box. The referee's just saying, please wait with this throw, because VAR are going to be doing a check. Now, what are they going to be checking here? Is there a potential handball as this one is taken now, or is there a foul there on Højlund? They're going to give that. There was a bit of a push in the back of Rasmus Højlund as well, and that potentially could be being viewed as a penalty shot. I'm not sure, but referee has allowed play to go on. There was no penalty, and United have pushed forward straight away. The ball into the box for Bruno Fernandes, swept away there by Kevin Dix. It's out for a throw to United down the right-hand side. You can see a rather stoic looking Erik ten Hag. You'll know that he wants a bit more energy from his side in the second half, but that's a chance for Copenhagen at the other end. Certainly would have had him sitting up and taking notice, as United in possession now with McTominay just inside the Copenhagen half. Back to Eriksen. Quick ball out towards the left-hand side. It's a bouncing ball. Rashford couldn't control it first time. He heads it on for Reguilón, but that just gives the chance for Ankersen to get in the way. And he hooks it long up the field down the right-hand side for Copenhagen. It's dealt with by Maguire, but only partially. The visitors now have the ball back. Elyounoussi on the deck, but it's out for a throw. And we can see there Jakob Niestrup again, just applauding his players. Because the effort from Copenhagen here is good. They've got Manchester United. I wouldn't say they've got them rattled. That's probably a too strong a statement. But certainly United can't ignore the fact that Copenhagen are very much in this game.
Yeah, it's somewhere in between, isn't it? I wouldn't go far as to say as rattled, like you say. But they've had their chances. I mean, you look at the one in the first half where they hit the post and Onana was beaten. This time he makes a cracking save from Liraga. But, yeah, and it was almost something out of nothing in the sense that the counter was well worked. But United looked positive in the start of the second half. They've made their positive substitution. Copenhagen not making a change there. Yeah, Rashford tries to get around Ankersen. Can he keep to the byline? He can. He cuts it back towards Højlund, lays it towards Eriksen. Strike it. Goal! What a save!
What a
save from Gabara. I've only just mentioned a cracking save from Onana at the other end of the pitch. Both keepers have been busy in the second half already. But what a save that is, because Eriksen keeps the shot down, full of power. Great reactions.
Well, it's an ideal spot for Eriksen, just inside the penalty area. Nobody closing him down. His fellow countryman Højlund lays this off to Eriksen, goes for precision, but there's a lot of power in that shot as well. But Grabara gets down low and makes a very good save. There are goals flying in elsewhere. Finally, we're getting some more action in the Champions League. Lens and a goal down at home to a PSV, and it's Bakayoko with the goal for the Dutch side. And in Seville, it's now Sevilla 0, Arsenal 2. Arsenal did actually get a goal just before half-time in injury time through Gabriel Martinelli, and at the start of the second half, they've doubled their lead through Gabriel Jesus. So two Brazilians on the score sheet for Arsenal as they continue their impressive start to this season. Long clearance now from Onana up towards the halfway line. Lovely turn there from Erasmus Folk, and he finds Goncalves. Not seen as much of the ball in the second half so far as Goncalves, but he finds Churi down the left-hand side. He's got support there from Yellert. Going back towards defensive midfield, being closed down then by Bruno Fernandes. Now gives a chance for Antony to then pick the ball off. It was a poor pass there from Yella, and now Højlund trying to get a through ball into Rashford. He does. Grabara comes out and he makes a challenge. The referee is going to give a penalty there. Surely, I thought it was going to be a penalty. The referee is now looking, and it's going to be an offside. That is a let-off there for Copenhagen. Bruno Fernandes is trying to get a word into the referee, but if there is an offside in the build-up, that pretty much negates anything else.
Well, exactly. It negates the debate we would have had if it was a dive or a penalty. The freeze frame is there. It's tight. He's probably a right knee offside.
Right knee, isn't he? Yeah.
I'd still be interested to see the replay of the challenge, because Grabara comes flying out. Great reverse angle we're about to see on our feed now. Rashford, there's no contact whatsoever, in fact, but Grabara does impede Rashford in a way. So whilst there's no contact, Rashford's tried to jump over him. Free kick has come to nothing now. Bruno Fernandes tries a through ball, cut out by Dix. But there's been so much action already in this opening 10 minutes.
It has, yeah. It's been a very, very bright start to this second half, which is what we were hoping for after a first half that had little pockets of action, but long periods of very slow possession with both sides almost cancelling each other out. But that certainly has woken up the crowd here at Old Trafford. They were hoping for a penalty. I think on the balance, that probably would have been a penalty, I think, just as you say, because the fact that he does stop Rashford. I mean, you could argue that if Rashford doesn't jump up, he's just going to get completely taken out by the keeper. Always reminds me of years ago when Nigel Atkins was manager at Southampton. He was asked about one of his players taking a dive in the box, and he goes, well, he had to, otherwise he was going to be fouled, and that's why it was right that we got the penalty anyway. It was a diplomatic way of trying to explain what his player was doing in the box. But here come United again now. Taps a little bit more life into their attack after that penalty appeal. It was Antony to Bruno Fernandes. Bruno just telling his teammate he wants that ball in space rather than to him. Didn't really have enough space to move that, and in the end it's just out for a goal kick.
It is, yeah, but as we've just said, great life in the second half already in his opening 11 minutes. Both keepers having to make some cracking saves. The recent one from Grabara was just superb, because Eriksen does everything right, really. Keeps it low, full of power, towards the corner of the net. But the reactions from the Copenhagen number one was sublime. He's just tried to go long now, looking for the second ball. The United win it back, and look at the space for Rashford.
Superb ball in from Eriksen to pick him up, but that's a very heavy touch from Marcus Rashford, and Grabara was coming out to try and dive on it. Then he realised he didn't need to. He just got his body in the way and just skipped past the ball when it went out for a goal kick. It is something that Rashford has in his locker as a negative trait, if you like. Sometimes he does have a bit of a heavy touch. It's almost like he relies on his pace, that he's always going to catch up with the ball anyway, but this time it really is a leaden-footed touch from him there.
It is, as we just see the replay there. Again, there's an argument as to whether he would have been offside. Vavro is, again, the last defender back.
He's shinned that one, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really has. It's not off the laces or the front of his boot, so he doesn't get the best control. And it's easy for Grabara to shepherd out for a goal kick, but the space is there. We were just saying that when defending, Copenhagen were looking great in the first half and limiting the areas where United could penetrate. But it's just opening up a bit more now. Maybe because Copenhagen have had a good chance in the second half. United have now too. It makes it easier for the neutral, more exciting, because it was straight from a Copenhagen goal kick when Rashford nearly got through. It
was, but now it's Elyounoussi trying to at least give some sort of chance of an attack here for Copenhagen. There's still a long way from goal. They're having to go back towards the halfway line. It's with Kevin Dix now forward up towards Goncalves. Falk's ball out towards the right-hand side is deflected. There may still be a chance here down the right. Looking to try and keep it in play there was Peter Ankersen. And he forces Regulion into some sort of clearance. It is out for a throw, so Copenhagen still have half a chance here, depending on whether Ankersen wants to send a long throw into the box. Doesn't seem to be winding up for a particularly long throw, but he's got a few options inside the penalty area. And so one of them is Kliasin, who does get a back heel in towards Elyounoussi. It's back with Ankersen again. Copenhagen players just need to make sure they're onside as well after that throw on. They go back towards the halfway line. Kevin Dix now pushing forward, space down the left-hand side. He's just put a little bit too much on that one. There's no chance, unfortunately, for a Copenhagen, for Arias Achuri to keep that in play. But the camera now focusing on Christian Eriksen. Of course, he's had the best chance to score for United in this second half.
He has, and it was a great strike. I mean, we really could go on about it, but it really was. And it's the best chance United have had, no doubt. Both sides really could have broken the deadlock. First off, from what we saw, maybe it was a fair reflection to be 0-0, but we could have expected goals now just because of the opportunities. United going long again. Højlund tries to win the ball, but Ankersen does well in defence to bring it down and give it back to Vavro. I really have like Rob said, it's a totally different game in the second half, I have to say, and it's not just because of the changes, because there's only been one, Eriksen coming on, and yes, he's had the big chance, but he didn't create it. He just received it from Højlund. It's really been the managers in that 15-minute interval for changing the tempo.
Well, here's Achuri now as Copenhagen looking to trying to change the tempo, trying to get into some sort of attacking mode. Lays it off to Goncalves. It goes for a curling effort. Doesn't get enough curl on it. It's pretty much a standing save for Onana. It's had to make one sort of move slightly to his left, and then he makes an easy save in the end. So a comfortable one for the goalkeeper there. But some sort of response here from Copenhagen after those chances for Manchester United. So it's still, I said, we've had a few goals in the Champions League. Still a few goalless games. It's goalless between Benfica and Sociedad. Goalless, of course, here at Old Trafford between United and FC Copenhagen. There's also goalless in Berlin between Union Berlin and Napoli. So Manchester United now in possession here with Maguire and Varane. It's being closed down there, Varane, by Achuri, going back towards his goalkeeper, Andre Onana. United have to be careful not to allow these slow spells to develop into something longer, because Copenhagen won't mind a little bit of slow possession in midfield just to try and slow things down. It's up to United to try and maintain that tempo, I think.
Yeah, if it was to remain this way, I don't think Copenhagen would lament the chances they've missed, because they weren't clear-cut, but they're good chances nonetheless. But if they got a point out of this game, they'd easily be the happier of the two sides. There's still half an hour to go in the game. They're going to make another change. Alejandro Garnacho and Lindelof, Victor Lindelof as well. Is that Anthony Martial in the distance as well?
It was Anthony Martial. I mean, you mentioned at the start of the match, the United have been looking for that number 9. I mean, Martial's been at Old Trafford for all these years, and he's been hogging the number 9 shirt, but he's never really sort of lived up to that role. In fairness, he's often been seen as a bit of as a substitute. Really, he's not had too many runs in the team. But you think of all the different managers he's been through now, Anthony Martial. Just as I say that, though, United do get a chance, and they've won themselves a corner, which they've taken very quickly. It's then whipped into the box. It's a good strong header away there by Dix. Loose ball picked up here, 30 yards out by Eriksen. He lays it off to Reguilon and then sends a diagonal ball into the box. It's Elias Yeller with a header away towards the edge of the area. Eriksen again picks up the loose ball, playing it back towards Varane this time. Just shows you how quickly United took that corner. They took it so quickly that Varane's still on the halfway line.
Yeah, a lot of intensity. And Maguire was making a run into the box. He didn't make it in time either. There was a cross coming his way, but he wasn't there to meet the header. But the threat is alive. Good ball from Eriksen.
It is fighting Højlund, who made a very heavy touch there. In fact, it was McTominay. Two chaps with a similar hairstyle from a distance, but I'll make sure I'll get the name right if they're going to do a miscontrol like that. It's United who've won it back though quickly here with Rashford, playing it square now to Bruno Fernandes, and over towards the right-hand side now. Anthony has an overlap there, decides to go himself. He decides to go for goal. It's a speculative effort. It's not far over the bar. But with that sort of standing shot, not much of a run-up, not much of a surprise. It was fairly clear that it was going to go over as well. But United making a couple of changes here. Sergio Reguilon is off to be replaced by Victor Lindelof. That's an interesting one for me. I'm trying to wonder, does that mean that now Lindelof plays on the right and Dalot goes on the left potentially?
Well, Dalot is certainly flexible in that sense. Anthony is off for Alejandro Garnacho. That's the second change. But yeah, he's really experimented with his back line, Erik ten Hag, this season. I've seen Lindelof on the left side of defence as well. I mean, that's where he was when they got the winner at Bramall Lane. He fed Diogo Dalot, incidentally, for that screamer. He was up in the left wing position in the end, the Swedish defender. They're the only two changes now. We did see Anthony Martial in the technical area as well, but he hasn't come on as of yet. But now it's with Copenhagen coming forward. It
is. There's a chance down the left-hand side. Now kept in play here by Liraga. Lays it off now to Achuri. Trying to break into the penalty area. McTominay's closing down. Yeller joining the attack. And Liraga now playing it back into midfield. Held up here now by Dennis Vavro, who decides to go for goal. It's not a bad effort. It's on target. There's a bit of a bounce to it as well. That's the sort of shot that can sometimes surprise a keeper, but it's a decent save in the end from Onana.
It is, and it's a type of save that, or the type of strike rather, that could panic a keeper that has had a lot of criticism already this season. But to his credit, he's kept it close to his chest. He hasn't parried it into a dangerous area. And whilst there wasn't enough venom on the strike, there was good precision on it. It was going straight in the far corner, but a decent save from Onana. United just slowing the pace down at the back, but they're looking for the options ahead of him. And it does look like that Lindelof is in that left back position.
He has. He's got into the left back position. It's an unusual one because you would have thought that Reguilon was also able to do more in terms of going forward for United. It may well be that there's also a thought from Ten Hag that he has to be mindful of defence as well. But United have lost the ball in midfield, and here is a chance now for Copenhagen, and it's Goncalves now finding Achuri at the edge of the area, trying to turn away from trouble. He gets held onto there. That's what the referee says. United players disagree. Maguire feels as though there wasn't anything wrong in what he did, but the referee disagrees. This will be a shooting opportunity now for Copenhagen.
Yeah, I think it's the right decision because he's got both hands on the arm of Ashuri there.
Shirt there practically.
And I don't know what he has to complain about there, Maguire. He's going to be saying it's a 50-50, but it's the whole reason that Ashuri loses the ball. He's got both hands on him, and it's a real threatening position, this for Copenhagen. It's about 32 yards from goal. Could test Onana with the strike. There's 3 players lined up for it. One of them, it seems to be the one that's going to take it, Diogo Gonçalves.
It's an opportunity, although we do see Vavro there as well. We just saw him with that effort from outside the box. Maybe he wants to do a sort of a centre-back's pile driver towards the top corner, driving that through the wall and trying to surprise Onana. Onana stood in a central position here, so he's expecting that to either go left or right. Referee's happy now with the wall. It's Goncalves' effort. It's a poor one. It may still deflect into the path of the advancing Laraga, but it's hooked out for a throw. A tame free kick in the end.
It was, but the deflection could have gone anywhere. Laraga was onside, I think, as well. He immediately makes the run. He's anticipating a potential save maybe from Onana, deflection from the wall. It was the latter, but it was well read by Diogo Dalot in the end, because if he wasn't there, Laraga was in on goal.
It would have been a good opportunity there, but a throw on to but Copenhagen now down the left-hand side. Well, he tried to get the ball in there. Yellert just ran out of space, but at least he wins his side. Another throw is right by the corner flag. It's got Achuri and Kliassen as the 2 short options. It's gone towards Kliassen, back towards Yellert now, trying to break into the box, and he does. He gets all the way to the byline, plays one across the 6-yard box. He gets a deflection, hits the side netting, and Copenhagen have a corner.
That's a brilliant play from the fullback, because he gets around his man, and all of a sudden, as he gets into the area, every United player is scared almost to make a challenge, because they could bring him down. He's got a lot of momentum there as Yellert. Tries to cut it back. Varane does well, the opposing number 19, to get the block in and just goes to the other side of the post. But it is another corner for the business. They've had quite a few.
It's going to be an in-swinger coming in from the left-hand side. It's Goncalves' ball, but it's a bit of height on this one. It's a good header away by McTominay, and then laid off by Garnacho to Bruno Fernandes, and all of a sudden United could go on the counter. Bruno Fernandes' ball through the middle. Garnacho should be onside. I think he was still in his own half when the pass was played, but it's another heavy touch, and Grabara, well, he's won the bet there with Garnacho, because really the keeper should have been a little bit further forward, but it's almost like he sensed that Garnacho was going to have a heavy touch, just stood still, and then it picks up the easiest ball you can think of.
I mean, that's worse than the Rashford one, I think, really, because it's not even his first touch, and 2, he's through on goal. Rashford was a bit more wide of the mark. And as you say, Grabara could have been a few yards out, maybe, because the pass is made from Fernandes when Garnacho was in his own half, and he's the furthest up the field. It's that high of a line from Copenhagen, so Grabara, whilst he could have been quicker to come out, he was still really brave to throw his body there as Garnacho tried to pounce on his own heavy touch. But the threat was there from the counter. They should have got a striker goal. Really, they should have found the back of the net from there, because the defence wasn't getting back anytime soon. But Grabara was there to save the day. Yeah, it was a good save from Grabara in the end. He sort of, as I say, he gambled on the fact that he didn't have to rush out, because if he had rushed out, that might have just encouraged Garnacho to flick the ball past him, and potentially he would have scored. But here come Copenhagen now. A ball in towards Kliassen at the edge of the area, back towards Ankersen. Joining the attack is Rasmus Falk now, back towards Laraga. 40 yards out from United's goal. United are back in numbers though. No easy way through here for Copenhagen into the penalty area. Falk having to turn and go back towards Vavro and Dix on the halfway line. And it is Kevin Dix now looking up. Again, United playing quite a high offside line as well, so there's not much chance of a diagonal ball here from Copenhagen. Played back into their own half now. Falk leaving it here for Laraga. Switching over towards the right-hand side. There is a bit more space here now for Ankersen. Doesn't hang about. He puts an early cross in, but he's put far too much on that. And there's no, despite the fact there's 4 Copenhagen players within sort of crossing distance there, he's made a mess of that. But here we go now, Ben, with this counter-attack for United. It's a great ball from Bruno. He's onside because he's still in his own half. He is, and it's a great ball from Fernandes. It's well worked, because there's only about 3 passes from the counter.
And the first touch was great.
It really was, as you say. And then as soon as that first touch was made, I'm thinking, right, he's one-on-one with Grabara. He was one-on-one in the Emirates when he scored, but he was ultimately offside. Quite a similar scenario, actually, because he was just offside in that sense. But you backed him then. He found the back of the net there, disallowed. You back him on this occasion as well at Old Trafford this time. But as you say, it's such a heavy touch, and it's a massive chance spurred.
I like that replay there. It showed the fans behind the goal. Some of them were applauding him for saying, come on, unlucky, and others were just stood there open mouth thinking, how has he made a mess of that? It was a great chance for the young Argentine, and it wasn't taken. We're past the 3-quarter mark in this game. It is still goalless. Manchester United 0, Copenhagen 0, and it will be Ben to take us through to full time.
Yeah, cheers, Paul. It's Rashford this time on the right flank with Garnacho on the left, looking to come forward for the Red Devils. We've already hypothesised and almost proven with statistics that they do struggle with goals this season to Manchester United. And they've struggled now, but look at Arushi going here towards Gonçalves. They've got the man advantage over on the far side. If he can find it in the box, it comes towards El Yunusi, but great interception in the end from Victor Lindelof, who's had to run over from left back. He wants a foul because I think El Yunusi still tried to get a strike at goal, but Lindelof got there first to make the interception. I don't think the foul has been given, but look at the high line from United there. It's Gonçalves on the far side, who's in acres of space. They do get back in time. Lindelof reads it well. I think the referee ultimately gave a foul in the end.
He has given a foul, yeah, but I think, as you say, that there's a bit of a tread down there from El Yunusi. He's right to say I'm sorry, but also he can't deny that it happened, and it's one of those where I think that Lindelof was well within his rights to appeal for a free kick there. But that's always the downside of a high offside line. It does restrict the opposition when they're in slow possession, but then if they have got a man over and they beat the offside trap, then suddenly there's so much space for them to work with.
Onana goes long this time. It's not going to meet the head of a United man. Vavro sends it more towards the United defensive half, but there's no Copenhagen shirt there to win it. So McTominay will drive forward now to Diogo Dalot. Rashford is seemingly permanently on that right wing now. On the overlap is Dalot. Can he get across? And he can. It's deflected, clear by Dix, only as far as Lindelof on the edge of the area, but Copenhagen can clear it. Only as far though as Garnacho, who wins the ball back. Harry Maguire is on the overlap. It's drilled across the face of goal, off the head of Vavro. I don't know how much he knew about it, but it's a crucial interception nonetheless, because there was plenty of venom on the cross from Garnacho. It's a United corner.
It is a corner kick to United, and some more work here now for the Copenhagen defence. There's no hanging about here from Bruno Fernandes. He's straight in the corner. He's going to try and send this out swinger into the box.
Yeah, he's immediately put it on the quadrants, and one arm raised from him. You've got Varane, Maguire, McTominay all in the area. It's nearly onto the head of Scott McTominay, cleared out by Dennis Vavro towards Eriksen. Great in-swinging ball towards Maguire, free header! Oh! It had to be, and it's Harry Maguire who really does receive a lot of criticism, but he can get the goals when they matter. And as it stands, it could be the winner earlier in the 72nd minute, but it's from a United corner, which they did want to take quickly. They're desperate for goals, and whilst the strikers don't often find the back of the net, they can sometimes look for their defenders, and Harry Maguire is one of them. Absolutely,
and you can see the way Harry Maguire just dived on his knees and just gave a bit of a stare to the United fans in that corner, as if to say, well, come on, if you're going to give me grief when I'm not playing well, how about give me a bit of love when I'm actually scoring a very important goal? And he gives a high five to one of the young fans there just in the first row as well. It's a big goal for United. However, the referee is checking. Well, he's actually pointed to the centre circle there. So there was a quick check. I'm not sure what the check would have been. Potentially, it could have been for an offside in the build-up, but it doesn't look as though that check's taken very long. Premier League VAR, take note, by the way, as to how quickly a UEFA VAR check can be made. But let's just have a look ourselves. Is there any argument here at all? Ooh, I tell you what. He looks just about all right, Maguire, but it's actually closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's the left shoulder of Vavro, maybe, but it is tight. And as you say, they came to a quick decision, which we're all for. Very efficient in deciding whether it was offside or not. They have given the goal, but the reason for that goal really is the delivery from Christian Eriksen. The half-time substitute, he's put it right onto Maguire's head. And we all know what he can do. He does love to score goals, does Harry Maguire. And from his head, you're going to back him from such a close range. But what a delivery it is from the Dane. Never played for FC Copenhagen. He played for the youth team of Odense Bowl Club, but I'm sure he knows all about the Danish outfit from his early career. But it's a fantastic cross from Eriksen.
It is. It's an excellent ball, and that's why Eriksen came on the field. You just need that little bit of quality. There's been through balls played to the front men. Rashford made a mess of it. Garnacho made a mess of it. So it needed big Harry Maguire to head the ball in, but it needed that cross from Eriksen in the first place.
It's United's 20th goal of the season in all competitions in their 13th game. As I said, they don't often find the back of the net, or at least not as much as they would want to, given the strength on paper that they do have. Incidentally, Copenhagen are scoring for fun at the moment. 46 goals already this campaign, albeit they are in their 22nd game of the season. The Danish Superliga does start in July, earlier than the Premier League, of course, but they do enjoy finding the back of the net, do the Danes, but they haven't managed to as of yet. They've had their chances themselves, but a great save from Onana in the second half prevented them from breaking the deadlock, and in the end it's Harry Maguire that has duly delivered for Manchester United. So the deadlock is broken at Old Trafford. The goals have fortunately been flying in elsewhere as well in the 8 o'clock kickoffs. Real Sociedad have now taken the lead away from home against Benfica. It's Bryce Mendes in the 63rd minute, as we just see another replay of that cross from Christian Eriksen. That's absolutely fantastic. It's a second ball almost, part of the same phase corner. But it comes to Eriksen, exactly from the same corner that Fernandes took it. But what a delivery it is to Harry Maguire, who puts up a heart sign towards the Stretford end, and they're duly giving the love back to their defender. They're in the 18-yard area again with Rashford get to strike a goal. It's going to be another corner. A lot more smiley faces of the United fans behind that goal, as Rashford again will be quick to put it down on the deck, looking perhaps to double the lead just as quickly as they found their first. It was Yella that got the block in from that strike from Rashford. There's certainly a spring in their step now. It's actually going to be Fernandes to take it, is it? No, it is going to be Rashford is there for the short option, but you would assume they're going to swing it in again. Maguire is up there again, so too is Varane. It's a poor ball though from Fernandes, cleared the first time of asking by Klaassen, then by Ashuri as well. So United will try and recycle it from the back. I'll try and run through the other scorelines as it stands. Real Madrid are 2-1 up against Braga. Braga did half the deficit in the 63rd minute, 2 minutes after Jude Bellingham gave them a 2-0 lead. We certainly can't stop scoring for Los Blancos at the moment. Lens have equalised against PSV Eindhoven. El Yawahi got the equaliser there. He was the one that got the winner against Arsenal in the previous match day. Arsenal are 2-1 up still against Sevilla in Andalusia, and Napoli have taken the lead against Union Berlin in Germany. Rashford tries his luck inside the 18-yard area, but you could have put another goal on top of the one at the Stretford end and it still would have cleared the bar.
Yeah, it was a blast over the bar. We're going to get a change here for Copenhagen now. It looks like Victor Klaassen has run his race. He's off for these last 15 minutes, and it's going to be Oskarsson, the Icelander, is going to play him. Ori Oskarsson is on the field now.
Yeah, Ori Oskarsson, he's only 19. I've mentioned that they do have an ethos at Copenhagen to bring in these young players, and he is their top scorer at the moment in all competitions. 7 goals, albeit joined with Rooney Baji and Diogo Gonçalves. They're all on 7 goals as it stands. Christian Sorensen is another player to come on. Elias Yellet, the left back, has made way.
You made the point there about Baji being one of their top scorers. Why do you think he's on the bench there this evening?
It's a surprise. He's only 17, the half Swedish, half Syrian player, but is he nursing a knock perhaps? But he's such a talent, and with it 15 minutes left, he's obviously such a crucial player for them domestically, but even in these stages of a Champions League game where you've got maybe a quarter of an hour left, it's certainly the times when you want to bring on the live wire youngsters to make a difference in a game.
I think so. I think this is a great, unless his manager fears that he's just going to sort of run on and not get much of a touch, and that could then dent his confidence. It's always a very fine balancing act when you've got a 17-year-old who's actually doing things for the first team, when really he should just be a sort of a squad player doing the odd little thing here and there. But if he's actually becoming a major part of that team and getting goals, then potentially that's what Nystrup is thinking of. But Manchester United, they don't want to take the foot off the gas too much, but you can see that goal has rattled Copenhagen a little bit.
Eriksen wins the ball back. As I said, they have scored 46 goals already this season from 14 different goal scorers, 3 of them with 7 apiece. Now it's with Ashuri trying to win the ball inside United's own defensive final third. He can't. Second ball forced away Bruno Fernandes. The referee will wave play on, and they've got men over now. United. Oh, it's another heavy touch from Rasmus Højlund, but he does win it and gets it to McTominay towards Garnacho. Great save by Grabara. The rebound comes to McTominay, and it was always curling wide in the end. I think the referee has given a corner, in fact, so there must have been a deflection. Grabara can't believe it, but he did make the crucial save at first. I think it was just a swipe effort from McTominay. The original decision was a corner. Has the referee gone against it? What is certain, though, is that it was a great chance for United to double the lead.
It's a fantastic chance. And what is it with these heavy touches from United forward? I mean, again, the touch from Højlund, I'm not sure there was a foul on him anyway. There's no offside there against Garnacho. Grabara makes the first save. I don't think Grabara gets a touch on the second one. And the linesman actually on the far side, we can see he pointed to the 6-yard box. He was indicating for a goal kick. So maybe the referee just did that out of... I'll tell you what, though, seeing that replay, it might have actually been closer to Grabara's hands than what we first thought. But, the corner kick has been was given initially, and now after all of that, the confirmation that it's not a corner kick.
Well, there must have been a long discussion between the linesman and the referee. Grabara gets his way, but it was another crucial save from him. He did make one when the score was still at 0-0. But it won't be a clean sheet for him. It's unfortunate given his performance, I suppose, but the header from Harry Maguire really did have no chance, about 6 yards from his goal, and a thumping header from a cracking Christian Eriksen cross, and that is all that separates the sides as we do edge towards the final 10 minutes of normal time, at least, of the original 90. Independent off-tube studio commentary. United 1, Copenhagen 0. Can they get their second? Now with Garnacho squares it across the face of goal. Vavro didn't know whether to make an interception because he was in a dangerous position. Any touch from him could have gone goal bound, and in the end it's gone all the way out for a United throw-in. Vavro, it could have got ugly there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those where you just think that it just needed to have that little bit more composure to see where everybody was. But United, knocking on the door again. They're getting very close now to their second. It's getting more and more difficult for Copenhagen to withstand this.
Well, as we said, the 5 victories in the Premier League leagues have all been by a 1-goal margin. As it stands, that would remain the case in this Champions League game as well. They did have a comfortable win against Crystal Palace in the League Cup. That's by 3-0. That's the only one that's been comfortable. Can they find more in this affair? It's with Lindelof inside the area, tries to find Bruno Fernandes. It's a heavy ball, and he gives away a foul. He's going to get a card. I think it's the first of the game. He can't believe it, though, the United captain. A chance for Copenhagen on the counter, perhaps, but he's still giving his remonstrations to the referee, but he is, for certain, going in the book.
Well, he's straining at it. He knows. I mean, I suppose his argument is that all he's trying to do is win the ball. He would say there's no intent to take the man. He just went for the ball and the guy just got there ahead of me. But, well, how many defenders, how many footballers could say that that's how they picked up yellow cards and second yellow cards when there's no actual sort of criminal intent, if you like, but the man has been taken down. And I think on that occasion the referee was left with no option. I always like to think that How would it be the other way around? If someone did that to Bruno Fernandes, he would expect his opponent to get booked, really, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. And when it comes down to that, it's always one word against another, I suppose. But the free kick was given, yellow card to Fernandes, and Copenhagen want to get on with it. And why not? Because they do trail and they want to find an equaliser. It's now with Gonçalves, edge of the area, towards Collison on the far side, gets his cross in, only as far as Shuri. The 1-2 between him and Gonçalves doesn't pay off. Fernandes can clear it, but they have plenty of bodies up there. Did FC Copenhagen. They're going to try and keep it alive. Now, will they win another free kick? The referee will play on, and it's with El Yunusi on the far side. Gets a good ball into the box towards the recent substitute Oskarsson, but he can't meet the cross. It's cleared out by United, but some good sustained attacking pressure from the visitors. They have been in this game throughout, really, and despite United taking the lead, there's only 1 goal in it, and it could all change, but it could change either way, because now United are going to try and get on the front foot. Rashford is one-on-one with Dix, who's been dragged out wide further infield towards Fernandes. Shot deflected and just goes wide of the mark. It's going to be another corner for United, but it's a much more fluid formation now for Erik ten Hag, probably because of bringing on Christian Eriksen. We're seeing Bruno Fernandes get forward far more often, and he's the one actually ahead of Højlund to receive the pass from Rashford.
He is, and in addition to what you've mentioned about United's formation, Copenhagen are starting to take more risks. That midfield's starting to look a little bit more exposed as well. Didn't actually take that much effort for United to go forward. It's a very good covering challenge there. I think it was that Folk sliding in to put that out for a corner, but Rashford and Bruno Fernandes take it short.
Yeah, they take it short, and then Eriksen tries to swing it in, not as a top quality delivery as the assist that he gave to Harry Maguire about 10 or so minutes ago. It's cleared easily by Copenhagen all the way back now to Andre Onana. That's a better delivery from him, all the way to the left wing position where Garnacho waits for the ball, gets around Ankerson, who immediately tells Garnacho to get up. He's not going to just yet, but he might need to if Copenhagen want to make anything of this attack. They opt not to and just instead play it around the defence. So with that Maguire goal, I'll just run you through the standings of this Group A. So Bayern, after winning against Galatasaray earlier on, they are first on 9 points. Galatasaray with that win at Old Trafford in the previous match day, that helps them get 4 points. So they are still in second despite their defeat today. United jump up to third as it stands, with Copenhagen in last position with just the 1 point. United will of course want to finish in the top 2, but they do always have that buffer, don't they, of finishing in third and dropping into the Europa League. But perhaps they will have Galatasaray in their sights going forward. They will need to travel to Istanbul, they will need to travel to Copenhagen, and they will have Bayern Munich at Old Trafford. But now Gonçalves has breached the lines of the United defence. Good ball into the box. What an interception from Rafael Varane, because Oskarsson, the young Icelandic striker, was ready and waiting for a tap in there. They broke the lines once more, though, the visitors, and it was nearly a well-worked goal. Well,
it was, and that's something United have to be very mindful of, is the fact that the last 10-15 minutes have been pretty much all United, but they are still only 1-0 up, and it only takes one mistake, one quick counter, and all of a sudden all of United's good work in the second half will be back to a situation where we've got a draw again. And just so we can see as this corner kick's about to be taken.
Yeah, Christian Eriksen has gone over it. It could just be one corner as well that earns them a crucial equaliser. 84th minute. We won't see the corner just yet because the linesman's got in the way of the ball. It's going to be a sub. It's one apiece, I think, in fact. Jordan Larsson is coming on for Copenhagen. I believe that's the son of Henrik Larsson, is it not? He's formerly of Schalke in AK in Sweden. being NEC in Netherlands. So he's been around, and he's coming on for Diogo Gonçalves. A bit more of an attacking change there. The 26-year-old Dutch-born has come on, and then we saw Anthony Martial coming on, but I don't think he's on the field just yet. They are defending a corner, United, so I don't think they want to make the substitution immediately. Sorensen is ready for the in-swinger, right in front of the away support. One arm raised by him, it's going to be swung in towards the 6-yard area. There's no Copenhagen player there, and it's a comfortable clearance at the near post for United. It's gone to Ankersen. Will he go back to Grabara? He will. He will almost certainly search long. The defenders have stayed up for this one. Will the flick on be won? No, it won't. It's won by Diogo Dalot, only as far though as Ashuri. Now the in-swinger towards the back post. Oh, it's just over the heads of both Oscarson and El Yunusi on that far side. Larsson apologising as well, but he wants, maybe even crediting the cross, because he was in there as well in the mixer, but it goes out for a United goal kick, and now they'll get the chance to make the change. It's the number 10 Marcus Rashford, who's a bit perplexed as to why he's coming off. But on in his place is the number 9. It's United's first game at Old Trafford since the passing of Bobby Charlton, who always adorned the number 9 shirt at United. And oncoming is Anthony Martial, who does wear the number 9 nowadays. A striker that sometimes is out of confidence, but maybe has a little chance of a run out for United. Rashford is wanting to... Are they going to make the change? Are they going to make an alteration to that substitution? Perhaps they are. The number 10 was up from the 4th official on the board. Rashford is making his way off. He couldn't believe it, and I suppose he has every reason why to believe that, because instead it's a striker for striker sub. Højlund off for Martial.
Yeah, so in actual fact, it's not Erik ten Hag doing anything sort of too elaborate. It's just the 4th official getting his digits wrong on the board there. So it's 10 instead of 11, or 11 instead of 10 has now gone off. So Martial is on to replace Rasmus Højlund, and as you said, he's been at United. He was brought in so many years ago. He's played under, I think, 3 or 4 different managers now at United, but none of them have ever really been able to make him stick as that front man, have they?
Well, he came in at about a similar price tag back then from his move from Monaco as to what Rasmus Højlund needed to be bought out for from Atalanta, around that 60-70 million mark. But it's been a struggle for Martial. He has played out wide for United in his earlier years, forced into the striker role. Always had so much promise, but the years have just flown by. A few loan spells out. I remember one at Sevilla where he got the goal here and there, but it didn't really work out for him in Andalusia. And he's back in the red shirt of Manchester United, and only has a few minutes to try and make an impact. But perhaps United will try and want to get a second goal in this game, or will they just want to try and see this one out? It would be their first Champions League win of the season. It would be their first Champions League win out of 6 games in the competition. Going back to their previous campaign as well, they really have struggled to earn 3 points in Europe's top competition, but they are only a handful of minutes away from doing so. I don't think there's been any other goals in the 8 o'clocks, so all those scorelines do remain the same as they too are making their way into stoppage time. Lindelof has to be careful under pressure from Larsson, who has to send the ball back to Maguire. Now again further back to Andre Onana, who looks long. Martial is going to make the run to put some pressure on Vavro, but Vavro can head it back towards the halfway line. Comfortably won by Scott McTominay. The possession in the last 15 minutes since the Maguire goal has gone the way of Copenhagen. They haven't had any shots, but they've certainly threatened United going forward. They just have lacked that striker goal.
They have lacked that striker goal. United just seem to have that little bit more about them now since they've taken the lead, and it's been difficult for Copenhagen to get that kind of purchase up front, which they were getting earlier on in the game. But it's certainly something for United to think about. They've still got 2 minutes plus injury time. There'll certainly be more than what there was in the first half, where the ref seemed to end the half 10 or 15 seconds early. But at 1-0, United still can't relax here, and it's only going to take one good move here from Copenhagen to put them under pressure.
Yeah, they're not exactly keeping the ball, United. They did send it long again, and it's gone straight into the feet of the Copenhagen players. And whilst it is still in defence, I would suspect that United would much rather have the ball at their feet rather than being the ones to defend. That's a good ball towards Ankersen, who's got acres of space to run into on this near flank. Garnacho has to get back to limit the space, and he does that well to his credit. Rasmus Falk sends it towards the halfway line. Slowly building possession are Copenhagen. They've got 2 changes they can still make, but with only a few minutes left, perhaps it's for the 11 on the pitch to try and get something over the line for the visitors. It's now with Ashuri on the far side, dispossessed by Diogo Dalot, who then wants to try and win a foul himself, but then he gets around the defence brilliantly ahead of Sorensen, ahead of Ashuri, and then that's a great ball towards Garnacho. What will his first touch be like this time? Oh, he won't even get it, because the ball bounces over the head of the Argentine winger, and in the end the chance goes begging because it bounces all the way to this near touchline. The defenders can get back, but at least for United now they have the ball at their feet.
Well, they do. I mean, Garnacho, he probably should have judged that a little bit better. He could probably see that the bounce was going to go over him, but at least it's a little bit more possession for United. We're into the last 40 seconds of regulation play now in this match, and Erik ten Hag will feel as though it's still not a vintage United. There's still problems in the way that they're playing, but grinding out results is also important to try and get some form.
To bring an update on the other game available on this service, is in the Championship between Leicester and Sunderland. They are still 1-0 to the good, the Foxes. A goal from Justin in the 12th minute, and they really are cruising the Championship at the moment, aren't they? Leicester 36 points as it stands. It would be 14 points ahead of Leeds, who are in third. So they've got a huge buffer in the automatic promotion position to try and bounce immediately back into the Premier League. But our focus, of course, does remain in this game as we do approach beyond the 90th minute mark. Interesting how many minutes will be added on by the fourth official. We didn't get any in the first half. We've got 4 in the second, so 4 minutes are all that stands for United to try and get their first Champions League win of the campaign. It'd be crucial to get them into third position at least and put some pressure on Galatasaray, who are ahead of them. They are going to make another change, in fact, Copenhagen. You'd suspect it's another attacking one. In fact,
it is
there we go. So as we just see Rasmus Højlund leave the pitch, we've got Oscar Højlund coming on, his younger brother, 18 years of age. He's on for Elias Ashuri. So we won't see the Højlund brothers on the pitch. But what a story it would be if you're looking at the big money man, Rasmus Højlund, who couldn't get a goal in this game. Could his younger brother manage it?
That really would be quite something if Højlund scores for Copenhagen and somebody not aware perhaps of his younger brother being in the team will read that headline and go, well, how has that happened then? But no, in all seriousness, I mean, it's a shame, of course, that they couldn't quite coordinate the substitutions so that we could have said that both Højlunds were on the pitch at the same time. But still a proud moment for the Højlund family to have their younger son here, Oscar, on the field now. And with 3 minutes still to go, potentially still fighting for a win. And he might actually get a booking here for that challenge on Garnacho.
It'll be some introduction to the Old Trafford turf. I think the referee has opted not to, in fact, in the end. But I remember early in the Europa League campaign, we saw Alexis and Kevin McAllister on the field for Liverpool and Union Saint-Gilloise. We saw some brothers in action there. We won't see it in this game as Rasmus Højlund has gone off. But the goal not coming from an attacker, but from a defender for Manchester United, Harry Maguire, who is willing to take this free kick long on the halfway line. He looks for Lindelof, he looks for Garnacho. Does Garnacho bring it down? He won't. So it's a throw in for the visitors deep inside their own half. They're going to need the ball at the other end of the pitch if they do want to try and get an equaliser. Ankersen is over this one. He's it short to Vavro, who thumps it as far as he can, looking towards Oscarsson, who hasn't really managed to get involved in the game so far. Joint top scorer for Copenhagen in all competitions this season, but he hasn't had a sniff at goal as of yet. Their best chance coming from Laraga earlier in the second half when the game was goalless, and it was a great save from Andre Onana. A crucial one perhaps, because then United, they had a great chance as well from Eriksen at the other end of the field, but then he turned provider for the only goal of the game as it stands for Harry Maguire. Now with Grabara, who sends it towards the left back Sorensen, now towards Dix, who isn't getting any pressure from Anthony Martial at the moment, so he plays it along towards Dennis Vavro. Lance and PSV, that's finished 1 apiece in that game as Copenhagen go long, laid off towards Oscarsson, strike a goal. Where did that hit Harry Maguire? What's the referee going to give here? It's an offside in the end. You did get the sense it would have been, but maybe there would have been a bit of panic from United there. Maguire's come off worse as he threw his body in front of that shot. We're just going to see a replay now. He's a good yard offside.
Yeah, he is offside. There's no doubt about that. We see that from the first replay. Just out of interest, does it hit Maguire on the arm? Well, his arm's on his across his chest there, isn't it? So I would say that in the English league that's probably unlikely to be given, but you never really know with European referees. Sometimes they have got a little bit more of a bee in their bonnet about stuff like that. As we're now getting a full replay of the sort of the UEFA style replays in terms of VAR to see that Maguire's body was very much in line. There was no issue with the goal for United.
Yeah, we just saw the freeze frame there, and then the animated figures with a line going across. As you say, it's a different graphic from what we can usually see in the Premier League, but it does show that Vavro's left shoulder just kept Harry Maguire onside, but it was a cracking delivery from Eriksen, wasn't it? Anyway, only 30 seconds left of the 4 minutes, and it's going to end with Copenhagen on the attack. It's with Rasmus Falk. Can he cut the ball into the box? He can deflect it, cleared out for a corner in the end from Christian Eriksen. It was a heavy touch from Falk, but he just about kept it alive, and all of a sudden that ricochet could have gone anywhere.
Well, Falk's on the deck as if he's expecting a penalty. I don't think there's any suggestion that there was a foul on him, but Kamil Grabara, the Copenhagen keeper, is up. Well, why not? We've got 5 seconds of injury time to play, so it doesn't really matter if United score again from this point. Copenhagen have got to try and do something to get get an equaliser.
Yeah, last roll of the dice from Jakob Niestrup here. He's going to bring the keeper, Grabara, up, who runs straight to the 6-yard line. It's going to be Sorensen with the outswinger. Oh, it's still going to be deflected towards Oskarsson. Can they get over the line? They can't. What's he giving? Penalty! Penalty to FC Copenhagen. Scott McTominay gives it away as there was a Copenhagen man throwing his body to get the header towards goal. He did miss it, but then McTominay swings a boot at the head of the man, and the referee made no hesitation to give a penalty and a yellow card. We've gone beyond the 4 minutes. What drama as Copenhagen have a chance to equalise.
Unbelievable. And when you think that McTominay in the last league game at Old Trafford scored twice in injury time, and now with one of the pretty much the last kick of the game, he's given away a penalty here. And I mean, it's an obvious penalty. It's one of those where Elianussi's gone for the ball. McTominay would argue that he's tried to get the ball as well, but he has kicked the man. I don't think there's any way that VAR is going to correct the referee for this. And it's just a question now of who takes this penalty for Copenhagen. But we are getting a VAR check here, so potentially they may still change their mind.
Oh, what drama. It really is. I would suggest that the penalty is going to be given, but they are checking it, of course. It's such a pivotal moment in the game. It's the difference between a victory and a draw. It is the last kick. You even assumed that the corner would be the last kick. The referee is still checking. Incidentally, it was Oscar Højlund that put the ball back in danger, and then Elianussi went down and won the penalty. So we're just seeing the younger brother getting involved and could potentially have played a pivotal moment in getting a penalty for Copenhagen. The referee confirms the penalty. What a moment this is. In the previous Champions League game at Old Trafford, Casemiro gave away a penalty, straight red card for Casemiro, and Mauro Icardi missed the penalty. He sends it wide. Ultimately, he did score the winner a few minutes later. But will Copenhagen send this one into the back of the net? It would almost certainly guarantee a draw for them, which would change the standings of Group A as we reach the halfway mark of the group stage. Andre Onana gets back to his goal line.
Well, it's like Larsson's going to take it.
Yeah, it looks to be Jordan Larsson who is going to take it. Referee is trying to get everyone out of the 18-yard box, I should say. He's the son of Henrik Larsson, as I said, who loved to find the back of the net for Sweden and for many teams, Celtic and Barcelona. Can his son get a massive equaliser at Old Trafford beyond the 4 minutes, way beyond it in fact now? We're 6.5 minutes into additional time. It's going to be Jordan Larsson to step up, ready to take the crucial spot kick. Onana, can he be the hero for Manchester United? Some people can't even watch, says the striker. Larsson lines it up for the strike. It's saved by Onana! Saved by Onana, and the referee, does he immediately blow for the full-time whistle? I think he has. Onana is wheeling away in celebration. No, I don't think he has ended the game. In fact, has he? He has.
Yes.
It really was the last kick of the game. Andre Onana, the hero for Manchester United. He's had plenty of criticism this season, but as Larsson stepped up, he guessed the right way. Save. It was a crucial save, of course, in the end. It gets the first win of the Champions League this season. But what a moment for Onana. He celebrates with every player has raced over to congratulate him. Full of criticism, but he's made his mark there. They get the win over the line. Full time at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, FC Copenhagen 0.